Hey, boys and girls, this is another episode of Neuronymous. I am Hal, as always, and baby, it is cold outside. Yeah, thought I'd throw that in there a little bit. Ruffle some feathers. You know, it's really weird. In junior high, I would definitely say, or middle school, is some people call it. Life was really hard for me. I mean, I in high school I was okay. There was nobody picking on me at all. Everything was great. I had some good core group of friends. But in junior high, middle school, whatever you want to call it, I felt like I was kind of a pariah, but just somebody that got picked on a lot. And one of those people, his name was Dusty Grant. And here's the funny thing, and like for a long time, like I don't know why, kids are rotten at that age, and I'm sure I was probably a dickhead too, but and this is not me trying to insult our guest today, but he was not very nice to me. But it boggles my mind what almost 25 years will do to people. Like back in my 20s, I bumped into him, right? And I didn't know it was him. I didn't recognize him. I think it was at the waiting room, and he I don't know if he was playing or what, but he just came up to me and was like, "Hey Hal, how you doing?" And blah, 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 and like patted me on the back, and I was like, I didn't know who the fuck this person was. Like I was like, what? And naturally I have this, I had this virtual gag reflex when people like tried touching me at the time. This guy comes up to me and he's like, "Hey Hal, how you doing, man?" And I was like, I did the whole pretending to be like, "Hi, yeah, how are you doing? Yeah." And it wasn't until later that I realized it was Dusty Grant. And the thing is, he's like the nicest guy in the world now. Like, I don't know, like, I don't know, maybe it's puberty. Puberty's a really weird thing. I'm going to just go into a little rant about puberty, okay? In the last episode, I was talking about my voice going, trying to lower my voice to register. But, like, it's really weird. I have a high voice and I have a low voice. And the longest time, I was at that age, that tender, awkward age of, when puberty hits, like, I was like, anytime I'd get sick, I'd be like, because I'd had this high voice and I talk like this to everybody and everybody'd be make fun of me because my high voice, which I still have, Anyway, so I'd have this high voice, and every time I'd get sick, I would just be like I'd be like, okay, this is it. It's finally happening. My voice is maturing. My balls are gonna drop. Everything's gonna be great. And then nothing happened, and my voice went back to this again. And I've managed to somehow retain this voice for most of my life, except when I'm sick. So, anyway, getting back to that. See what I did there? It just switches right back. So anyway, I didn't realize, how talented and sweet this guy has become, this Dusty Grant character that I'm going to be interviewing here in just a little while. Just a really heart of gold, man. I don't know who that was in junior high, but like, people change. It's just weird. It's weird how people just change, and they change for the better. Like, I can honestly say that almost all the people that I knew back in the, that were mean to me back in middle school have turned into like really upstanding, nice people, but like people have really, people used to be so mean, and now all those people are nice to me now, and they're like, I don't know what happened in their life, that causes that kind of change, but people just grow up. We grow up, and time goes by, and like, people change, and it's a really wonderful thing. I tend to run on the very cynical side, and skeptical, about people changing, and I think I get that from my dad, because my dad is not a very forgiving person, and then it's not time to bash Hal's dad time again, but like, he does not forgive and forget. He he neither forgets nor forgives. And I've just learned to not, I don't have that in me. Like, like about a month or so ago, I asked Dusty to be on the show because he's a very, very talented musician. He's in Wichita, Kansas. If you get a chance to see him, seek him out. It's great. I've got him downloaded on my Apple Music, some of his music, and I see him on Spotify, which I am also on. Thank you very much. Anyway, little self-plug there, shameless self-plug. But anyway, no, Dusty's a great guy, and I'm really, really excited to talk to him. And maybe we'll figure things out. Maybe we'll hash things out and find out, maybe we'll have a moment where, like, it's going to be a Skype interview, sadly, because, I really do like interviewing people in person more, but sometimes that's just not a possibility, but it's okay. We're gonna have a good chat. We're gonna talk about music. We'll talk about anything under the sun. Maybe we'll catch up, find out how do people change and what causes change, and just what does it take for us to grow up and become good people or bad people. In Dusty's case, he became a mensch. I'm sure people are still like, what is this mensch thing he keeps talking about? What is this? Is it a Jewish thing? Yes, it is a Jewish thing. But anyway, Dusty's become a mensch. He's actually the one that suggested that I go ahead and create a Facebook page for Neuronymous. And I'm very grateful. And he's plugging this episode like crazy. He sent an email blast to, I guess, some of his fans and listeners, and I'm very, very grateful for that. It's good to have new listeners, and yeah. So in just a short few moments, I will be bringing Dusty on the show via Skype, and we'll talk to him shortly. Hey!
What's up, dude?
Not too much. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How's life?
Life is. I'm wearing my. I feel like the dude in The Big Lebowski. I'm wearing my bathrobe and everything. Life is good. I have to say, if I can wear this shit and be and have my own podcast and do whatever, life is good. So, I was talking, like, it's so weird because, like, back in middle school, like, I feel like you and I weren't on the same, we were not, I wouldn't say we were, like, we weren't enemies, but we weren't, like, friends, and, like,
I'm sure at that age.
Yeah, like, total, you were a complete asshole, but that's okay. I was, like, I became an asshole throughout my whole 20s, so, like, I know, but
climbing out of assholeness.
Right, and the thing is, like, I just remember, like, I bumped into you. I think it was at the waiting room, like back in my mid to late 20s, and like this guy comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, Al, how you doing? Were you at the wait?" And I was like, "Who the fuck is that?" And I was like, and I tried to do the whole like, "Oh yeah, okay, yeah, how are you doing? Yeah," and then like. It wasn't until later I was like, shit, that was fucking Dusty fucking Grant.
It sounds right to me.
Yeah, you had a beard, and I was like, I'm not used to people from middle school having facial hair at that, so like it was a shock.
Like the last time I saw you was when we were, what, 12?
12, yeah, I think it was like right after my bar mitzvah, probably.
Yeah, so I mean,
yeah,
we, 25 years.
Yeah, no, it's exactly like I was just talking in my intro. I was like, it's amazing how things change in like 25 years. Like all the people that used like weren't like the nicest to me, like are like totally awesome people now. Like all the people that were nice to me, like are kind of like I don't know. It's like it's kind of like taking like a weird like turn. Yeah, so
I think I get like, especially that age for me when you're going through that change, and as weird as
yeah,
this
yeah.
is getting deep immediately, but that's totally cool with me.
Yeah. No, and I like I said, my I'm certainly not here to bash you by any means. That is not my intention.
No, I mean, in a way, I deserve it. When I was that age, I was going through hormonal stuff or whatever it
Yeah.
was, the growing up, and I think I was really insecure at that age too.
I think
Like,
we all are, and like some just we just act out, and yeah,
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 manifest in different ways for different people, and like I've grown, a lot more humble as I've gotten older, and as bad
yeah,
shit's happened to me, and some of it's been my fault. It's like you can either learn from those mistakes or you can continue down that path and
right,
jerk to everybody, and then you'll be alone.
yeah, yeah. I don't, and it's weird. I don't like I don't mind being alone, but like at the same time, like I'm also kind of like I need that constant like people. I need people around me, and at the same time, there are times where I'm just like, oh God, like Louis C.K. had. I don't know. Do you know Louis? Well, sadly, everybody knows Louis.
I knew him before the jerking off stuff.
Yeah. I've been talking to a lot of comedians, and we're just like, as far as apologies go, that was about as contrite as an apology as you're gonna get, as far as when you like, yank your dick out in front of women. Like that's about as good as it's gonna get as far as an apology goes. But no, like like I have this weird thing, like where people like if people come up to me, like. And he had this bit where, like, if people come up to him, he just wants, like, he just wishes, like, this venom would just kind of fly out of his mouth and just, like this cum-like substance, like, just shoots out at them, and they're just like, oh my god, my fate, That's kind of, like, how I am most of the time, except for with my wife. My wife is okay. She's in my inner circle, and I've got a few people in my inner circle. Most people I just want people to just leave me alone. Which is weird that I have a podcast where I interview people and I like talking to them. So
I'm the exact opposite, man. I talk to everybody, and my wife's like, because she's a little bit more introverted than I am.
Yeah.
Like when we go out, it's a lot because I'm a talker and I like to walk around and meet everybody, and I can never sit still, And so my wife's like, man, you need to chill, or we need to start going now. You're starting to get on my nerves.
Well,
I'm gonna Uber and buy.
Yeah, I no, like, and what's weird with me is that, like, my wife and I have like because like I said, my 20s I was like Mr. Push people away, like. And like I said, I'm still to a certain extent. I'm very much a homebody, and but like I got really into the drug scene, and then which is weird because like I was Mr. Goody Two Shoes like in junior high.
That shocks me when we reconnected on Facebook and I saw something about being in recovery or something like that. I was like, no kidding. Like I at that time we weren't in contact at all. So how would I know anything about it, or how would you know anything about me?
Right. No, it's
what happened with that?
Yeah.
What was your choice? What was your poison?
Oh, absolutely. I was a kind of a what you got kind of guy, but my downfall was cocaine, which is which really like you see like you don't when you think of like good old goody two shoes Hal in junior high, you don't see him like I said like just sitting like in a dark garage like trying to like snort cocaine off of your like pinky, your thumb, your thumb and your forefinger, like it just doesn't mesh, it just doesn't. There's no congruity or whatever the fuck that word is, but there it is. But the thing is, like that's what I love about like the way the world works. It's like things change and like, you know, progress, and like you can either like, it's like that line in Shawshank, you know, get busy living or get busy dying. And I was tired of trying to die, you know, like I was, the old phrase is I was sick and tired of being sick and tired, you know. So you know, my wife basically gave me the choice of, you know, like either rehab or divorce. And I was like, well, and love conquers all, Dusty. Love conquers all.
I guess it's
No, not really. No, that and like disdain for all things. Yeah.
So did you have like what was that like your rock bottom moment? Your wife coming to you and saying that?
Well, it actually, the way it worked is this, and I kind of talked about this in my last podcast, but I am all about talking about recovery if it helps people. My wife and I, we were going over our funds, you know, like our bank statements, like we were going through, you know, our you know, our banking accounts, and she kept saying like, so what's this $100 withdrawal? And I would be like, I don't know. And she'd be like, she was like, okay, you should probably call the bank about that, you know. And then she goes, well, what's this one? I was like, yeah, I don't know about that one either. And she was like, okay, we need to have a fucking talk here. And she's like, where are all these withdrawals coming from, and why are you? And I was like, well, I don't want you to be mad at me. And like, that's like just not a good precursor to like, and she goes, you better fucking tell me right now what the fuck is going on. And I was like, I've been doing kind of a drug. And she goes, kind of, you know, I'm just doing a little drug, you know, little white lady. And she's like, what kind of drug? And I said, cocaine. And she like gets up, she grabs a brick of Post-it notes, and fucking chucks it, and it hits me square in the forehead, and like that was my rock bottom right then, because my wife's father is an alcoholic, and he has been down and out for many years. He's okay now. Whatever. But he's okay-ish, exactly, and I remember I said to her, I'm not your father. And she just looks at me and she goes, yeah, well then who the fuck are you then? And like that, like when she looked at me with that same kind of hurt and pain and anger and sadness and just like fear that she does when her dad's, you know, down and out, like that, for me, that was it. That was my rock bottom. I was just like, I can't do this anymore. And then she goes, okay, you can either she ran into the bedroom, took the dog, you know, started, you know, like rumbling through like the drawers, you know, and I was like, oh my God, she's leaving me. This is it. This is it. And I said, well, where are you going? like I'm expecting her to stay, you know, like be like, oh, we should have a reasonable conversation about you doing cocaine, you know. But she was like, I'm going to go to your parents' house, and you can either follow me or I can just go by myself, and I'll tell them what you've been doing. And like I was telling my last guest, and I had this weird scenario in my head where I thought that maybe I might beat her somehow to the house. Like I was trying to think of shortcuts I could get there to be like, I don't know what the fuck she's talking about. This girl's fucking crazy. I don't know who is this girl. I didn't fucking marry her. She's a pod person. I don't know what the fuck she's doing. You know, but no, she managed to beat me to you know, and then my dad was just like, it was a very surreal experience dumping my cocaine into the toilet with my dad watching, like standing over me, and I was like, this isn't really a father-son moment that I really ever pictured having. I mean, my dad and I are kind of have like this weird, like, you know, he likes to like make himself feel like he's smarter than me, but you know, I never once expected to have that kind of a moment, you know. And I remember the moment that I thought things were gonna get when I realized things were going to get better was like my wife wanted me to do a pee test. A urine, UTI or whatever. UTI.
Yeah. She wanted you to have a urinary tract infection.
Yes, exactly. I think she still might. That's probably why she stays away from me most times. She's just secretly praying that I just can't do it. That I'm diseased somehow. No. She basically she asked me to do a urinary. Now I got it in my head now. A urinalysis. Yes, one of those. And like. So she was like, "All right, go in the bathroom." I was like, "No, you want me to do this? You're gonna do this. You're gonna watch me do this shit." And she did, and it came out clean. But there's that extra step that you can do where you can send it to like a real laboratory, and they'll really, it's like that, just to make sure it's not like a false positive pregnancy test or something like that, And so, like when she said, "Well, I'm gonna send it off to the lab," and I was just like, how dare you? And like this like indignation, like how could you even think that I would lie to you about my urine being complete? Yeah, exactly. And so like a week later, I don't know what happened, but like things started getting better. And this was like a week after I was doing like outpatient rehab, and like a week later I come home. And, like, she's just standing in the middle of the room, and she's just like, and I'm just like, what's going on? She goes, I threw the test away. And I was like, what? Why? I thought you were going to, and she just looks at me and she goes, and I'm going to try not to get emotional here, but she goes, because I trust you. And, like, this was, and that's like when I knew in my heart that things were gonna get better. And I had started going to meetings, and I got a sponsor, and I still have a sponsor, and and it's that I've changed in like ways where like my first meeting like I ever went to, like this, I didn't like people hugging me. Like for the longest time, I didn't want people to touch me because I just didn't think I was worth being touched, And so we're getting into some deep shit here today, Dusty.
I mean, it's embarrassing though, dude, when you make those kind of mistakes.
It is.
People down like that. It's an embarrassment.
It's but and I feel, but my goal on this podcast is if I can get one person to be like, you know what, nah. This isn't worth it anymore, then that's, I'm okay, like letting this all out, but yeah, so just for the record, my wife might be coming home, so my dog might start barking, so if that happens, but
I have toddlers and I have 2 other kids in the house too, so
yeah,
at any moment shit could go completely nuts in this.
That's totally cool. I think my wife was just happy that it wasn't going to be happening after 6 p.m. because we get hungry. Yeah. So where were we? Yeah. No. So I got a sponsor, and we just decided I went through rehab, outpatient, and then my wife got this traveling gig, and we went to. We just started moving from place to place for a little while. Like we went to the Boot Hill of Missouri, Sykeston, which you could basically go down a long stretch of a road, and that's Sykeston.
Different than Omaha, huh?
What?
That's a little different than Omaha.
Oh God! Whenever I go into Omaha now, it's like I'm just like, what the fuck is this metro?
You know where I am, dude.
This is like a metropolis.
I was in West Omaha. I went to stay with Hal Penny.
Oh yeah, Chris Halpenny. Yeah, I remember him.
I went to see him, and I was driving around in West Omaha, man, and I lived out in West Omaha, and I had no fucking clue where I was the entire time I was out there.
Yeah.
And the second I got north of Dodge.
Yeah, no, like I seriously, like, I'm like, because everything has changed in Omaha. Whenever I go there, like, so, it's like when I used to live with my roommate Sharon. Like, I'd get really stoned, and somehow we both would get really stoned, and I'd wake up and like the part that was on one side of the room would be on the other side of the room, and I'd be like, what just happened here? Like, that's what I feel every time I go to Omaha is, what the fuck just happened here? Like,
I feel the same exact way, man.
and it's just weird because I'll be working at my job and I'll just be like, I'll forget that I'm not in Omaha, and I'll like, it's just like it's this weird feeling of displacement where I'm just like, I'm like in I'm like in small town Minnesota, like. Yeah. How the fuck did I get here? You know, like.
For you, how you like Minnesota?
You know what? I love it. They're.
It's not too cold for you.
Oh God, it's fucking terrible. It's the worst. It's like, and the worst part is it's small town Minnesota, so there aren't nearly as many buildings like, say, for Minneapolis that are breaking the wind. So like a quarter of the year, my face hurts. Like, yeah, I know. I'm just like. Like, it's not like a cool mountain mist. It's like Jack Frost basically just grabs you by the fucking like lapels and like says, "Guess what, motherfucker? It's winter." Blah. So no. I love Minnesota, and it's really funny because I was talking to a coworker, and like, I work at home now, and this coworker of mine said she was like I was really hoping that because we all are in different spots of the US now because we work from home, like, right. She's from the South, and she was like, I was really hoping for this, Minnesotan accent, and I've kind of gotten a Minnesotan accent a little bit, it. Yeah. Don't you know? You darn tootin'.
I'm the opposite way. I'm down in Kansas, like near Oklahoma, Missouri, and you start to get a little bit of a twang when you live down there.
Yeah, no. See, my wife adapts really quickly to accents. Like, when we were in Sikeston, which is like the Boot Hill of Missouri, she got. I remember specifically the first day at her job. I think that it was the first day at her job there. Like, some woman comes up to her, she goes, "Oh my God, you're my first Jew." And she came home and told me that, and I was like, I'm pretty sure that's not like legit. I my wife is they work in a clinic for pediatrics, and this woman comes up, she goes, "Oh my God, you're my first Jew." And then a couple weeks ago, I was interviewing another guest, and he was like, "Yeah, you're like my third Jew, man." I'm like, are people fucking keeping count on us? Like, is there something going, is there a wall going up for us? I don't know. Like, I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Missouri, there's a huge place where they're trying to keep track.
It's called a synagogue, man. This kid.
I'm in the meat business, so I deal with tons of Jewish people. So
oh, okay, yeah, sure. Oh, yeah.
A lot of we do some kosher.
Yeah.
And all that kind of stuff too. So I'm very familiar with the culture and all that. So I spent a lot of time around Jewish.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, I'm sorry. No. I just know that when I worked at Baker's for a little while, like, my mom going through my aisle was like the worst customer ever. Like, she had just hold on for a second. Mommy's home. Go see her. Jazzy boo. All right, there we go. All right, okay. So my mom goes through my checkout aisle, and she's like, "Oh my God, I've got coupons. I've got rain checks. Can you make a deal on this?" And I'm just like, I look at my dad and I just shake my head and I said, "Don't you ever let her fucking come through my aisle ever again. If she fucking comes through my aisle again, I will quit right on the spot in front of everybody." So yeah, no, having a Jewish mother go through your aisle, and the fact that you work, in the meat department and you have to deal with Jews a lot.
Basically what I do is I sit on the phone and I sell truckloads of meat, right?
Okay.
So the company I work for kills cattle. We slaughter kosher. We do things like that.
Oh man. So you're not a vegan then? Not even. Oh, neither am
Nobody close.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I basically sell. I sit on the phone and I call on people, and they have stuff they need. I have stuff I want to sell, and we basically negotiate and fight over pennies.
Yeah.
That's basically what we
Seriously?
do. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, a penny on a truckload of meat is $400. So
I get wow.
Something at the 25-cent premium, bang, we're making money, right?
Gee.
So like literally, I'm fighting over pennies all day because the volume is so heavy.
Oh wow. Jeez, I never even.
So I'm not going door to door and selling steaks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably what you thought.
No. I just thought like maybe you were like in the meat department, like killing, like beating the shit out of like like cow carcasses or something, like Rocky or something like that.
Chops for people. No.
Yeah.
I sit on a phone and talk shit much like you and I are doing now, and try to whip them down and sell stuff.
Yeah. So what? I mean, what brought you said you're in Wichita, right?
Yes, sir.
So what exactly was it that brought you to Wichita? I mean.
So I finished school in Omaha. I graduated from UNO in business with a degree in marketing.
Okay.
And, so I finished school, and there was an opportunity at the company that I work for.
Okay.
I put in for the opportunity, and I got the job. So like I graduated from UNO, packed my stuff that weekend, and moved to Wichita that Monday for work.
Oh wow.
I didn't have any.
No lag time.
Nothing. But
wow.
To be honest, the people I was hanging out with in Omaha were the stuff I was doing in Omaha. It was a welcome change of scenery. I kind of knew that I was getting to a point in my life where it was either you can go this way and completely
fork in the road
and blow all these opportunities, or you can be smart and go and I thankfully chose the right path. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Down here and started working, and I've been here with the same company for 15 years, and doing the music thing and all that good stuff. So.
Yeah, I mean, and I've listened to your music, man. It's fucking amazing, dude. It's awesome.
It's really depressing stuff.
You know what though? I love depressing. Like my favorite music is depressing shit. Although I've been really listening to The Greatest Showman quite often, which is like the antithesis of like depressing shit. But no, like I like Sigur Rós. Do you ever listen to Sigur Rós at all?
No, I've been listening lately. Like for some reason, I've been on this weird country western thing.
Okay.
I've never been into country western. I was always a metal guy.
Yeah.
But as I got a little bit older and I started playing the guitar and realizing that I needed to be a solo guy, the songwriters I started looking up to, and then I found some country people that I've been into. And for some weird reason, I've been listening to country. I listen to a lot of metal. I listen to a lot of Alice in Chains.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love. Do you ever listen to Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds?
Yes.
Oh my god, I've been on a kick lately with them, and like it's just he's just so brilliant. I mean, he's a screenwriter. He's like a novelist. I mean, he just does everything, and like his music just oh my god, like it's so violent and just dirty and seedy.
It's like it's so weird. I feel like I'm reading like this highly suspenseful like murder novel when I'm listening to music, and it's like this whole story with this arc.
Yeah.
Comes to a culmination, and the chorus hits, and you're just like, man, that guy is.
Yeah. What was it, McMalley's Bar or something like that? A Murder Ballads. It's like a 15-minute song basically of some dude shooting up like a whole bar. It's like and I love it. I don't know why. I just love it. It's just absolutely dark and horrible. But yeah, so no, that 9 Inch Nails and like I mean Trent Reznor is like a huge hero to me because he's in recovery, Like I appreciate back in the day, like I was into oldies and stuff like that, but as I got into the and even when I was into the really heavy drugs, like I was still never I'd listen to My Morning Jacket and stuff like that kind of stuff, but like it wasn't until I got into recovery that I really got into like the really angry like Trent Reznor heavy metal.
Dude, the era that
Yeah.
The first concert I went to was Nine Inch Nails.
Oh man.
The first, they filmed the Hurt video at the first concert I ever went to in my life.
No shit.
Yeah, so I mean, like, what are you gonna do with your life after this?
Right.
Try to make music. I don't care if 2 people like it. I'm gonna try. But I mean, like, that kind of music coming up, that stuff had a huge influence on me.
Yeah.
I've kind of been revisiting it lately.
Yeah.
I almost appreciate it more now. I mean, shit, half of them guys are dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, the music is so amazing.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It just, I am like I am super weird. Like, well, what else is like? That's a shock right there. No, I drive my wife crazy because like I am like king of making playlists. Like I did a whole '90s playlist, and what I did like it's like over like. It's like hundreds of songs, and I chronologically put them in order of what year they came out, and then alphabetized them in the and so like
That's that sounds good. Can I follow them?
Yeah.
Do you have them on Spotify?
Not on Spotify. They're on Apple Music, but I probably I could do it on Spotify, but no, like I don't know, like it's just like it's. Like and then when I'm done with it, I'm like, oh my god, I spent like at least a day doing this. What did somebody put something in my drink? Like, because I'll just be like.
So does it feel like? I mean, when you do it though, does it feel like it took you 5 minutes?
Yeah, it does actually.
Man, I get obsessed and like I go down a freaking wormhole. I'm the same way, and then I look and I'm like, wow, I just wasted 3 hours.
Yeah, no, exactly. No, I'll be doing I'll be like I'll have a thing of notebook paper out, and I'll be like 91, 90, 91, 92, 93. Like I go into like full not to bash people who are autistic, but I go into full Rain Man mode. Like it's just like if you threw some fucking toothpicks on the ground, I couldn't count them. But you start throwing 90s music at me, like I'd be like, okay, this came out then, this came out then, this came out then. Like
you know the dates it came out. You don't have to look it up. Like 94, 93. You know exactly when you hear a song from that era, like that you're familiar with.
Yeah.
All the dates.
Not necessarily the dates, but I just remember like
or the era or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Like I remember like the time of high school that I was in. You know what I mean? Like I know like most of my favorite music came out in my sophomore year, and like a lot of it was, you can laugh, Sarah McLachlan. Some of it was like Sean Colvin. A lot of the Lilith Fair people like that was like during my sophomore year. Like the Macarena came. What's that?
Like a little bit folky.
Yeah, exactly. I like the folky stuff and.
Different for me, but that's so weird because we grew up. We're the exact same age and we listen to completely different.
I know.
Stuff.
I'm gonna be 38 in March, man. I can't believe that shit.
When's your birthday in March?
24th.
Oh, mine's the 10th.
Yeah. No.
So shit, I'm older than you.
You are older than me. Fuck. Jesus.
Those 2 weeks have really given me a lot of.
Yeah, it's like maybe who knows? Things could have gone very differently, but yeah, no. So I mean, as far as you're saying that your stuff is really depressing shit, but like, I talk to a lot of comedians, right? Because I've done stand-up comedy a few times, about 6 times.
It's terrifying to me about like being a solo artist, though. It's that same type of terror where you're up there alone.
Oh God, yeah. It's like the dead eyes. For me, like I just have to not look at the front row. If I can not look at the front row, I'm okay. But like here's the weird thing. Like I can like. With this mic that I have right here, I'm golden. It's good. It takes everything, but like when I'm on the stage, like I was telling in another podcast, I don't know, like in every single, my wife filmed except for the one night I bombed. My wife filmed like every single like performance that I did, right? And like in every single performance, my wife, you hear my wife yell in the background, use the mic. Use the mic. Put the mic closer. And the thing is, like, I never know whether to use the mic or give it, like keep it at 5 feet away, like 5 inches away from me, or fucking blow it. You know what I mean? Like, it's like a puzzle to me.
Yeah, it just comes from doing it over and over.
Yeah, and see, I have like really high anxiety, so this is as good as it gets for me. Like, I enjoy interviewing people, like, and like, I'll just go, I'll do solo riffs. I don't know how much the podcast you've listened to, but
I started the last couple of days, so I'm trying to catch up.
It's okay. Like, but yeah, no, like I'll do just like solo riffs, and I don't really do like, I don't have a shtick, you know what I mean? Like I just kind of like unzip myself and just let it all out, and I was my mom, like, she's listened to like maybe 1 or 2 episodes, and she just, it's just so hilarious, like my parents' reaction, because she'll be like, it just makes me sick that you were doing all those drugs and we didn't know about it, and like, it just drives me, it makes me so sad. And I'm like, oh God, like, seriously, just it's done, it happened, it's over, let it go. I'm a better person. Like, I'm doing this not because my purpose, like, when I talk about all this drug shit, isn't like to be like, hey, guess what, guys, I did some drugs, like, it's basically be like, yeah, I fucked up a lot of my life for a while, and yeah, and now I have a better life because I'm not fucking my life up anymore. Yeah, exactly. I want, like I want somebody to put the spoon down. I want somebody to, like, take the the thing, the rubber band thing that they. I never did heroin. I had the opportunity, but I never did it.
About full circle, hell.
Yeah.
I never did cocaine.
Yeah, good for you.
Never. How I.
You look very proud there. You're like, well, I never did cocaine.
I saw a lot of cocaine, but I never did it.
Yeah, no, and
I never fell in.
I think for me, it was the perfect storm for me. It was like because like all my life I felt like I was just dominated by my mom. Like everybody was like just pushing me around, and like when I did that drug, like I felt like I could take command, I could get on top of things, and I could get shit done, and like nobody could tell me what to do. You know what I mean? And like by the end of it, like I've said this a gazillion times, and I'm not afraid to say it again. So like, you're fucked up. You're fucked when you're like, I'd be like crying. I'd be driving to the ATM machine to get money, and I would be just sobbing because I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it, and the harder I sobbed, the harder my foot pushed on the gas pedal. You know what I mean? To get to where I want, to get my fix. And I remember the day that is my clean day, which is August 30th, the day which I was completely drug free and forevermore. Hopefully one day at a time. Like some guy, I was trying to talk to my drug dealer and say, hey, can I just have my money back, please? It was like a return at J.C. Penney's. It was like, I was like, do you think I could have my money back, and we'll do a rain check or something like that. Like it was, and he was like, no, man. And he just like tosses me like this dime bag, and like, oh, I'm like, oh shit. And like, so I'm driving to my therapy appointment, and like I'm like, what do I do with this? What do I have this dime bag in my, this little plastic, like cellophane bag or whatever. And like, I could either use it or I could not use it. And that was for me, like, that was really the fork in the road. Cause I went into my I went into the building where my therapist was. I went into the bathroom and I just poured it down the toilet. And I was like, nah, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. and I flushed it, and I was like, that was the last time I ever saw it. But it's weird. Every so often, I get this. I can smell it. It's a weird thing. I think, and I don't know if this is a thing for addicts, but every so often I can smell it in my nose, like, and it scares the shit out of me. You know what I mean? Like,
cigarettes are that way for me. I mean, I know cigarettes and cocaine are two different animals. But
yeah.
Cigarettes are that way for me.
Yeah, I was a smoker too. I smoked for like pretty much all my 20s, and then, you know, like you get married, and and then you
realize it's gross and makes you feel like shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That yeah. I
can't do it anywhere anymore.
Well, what's really funny is that, like, I was in recovery and I wasn't doing drugs, but I was still like not a very honest person, like, and I was still like hiding things, and like for like at least 2 or 3 months I was using like an e-cigarette, and like and it was like the early stages. It wasn't those big, phallic looking things that people use now, but like it was like it lit up green at the end, and so I remember my wife, like, she found it charging on the charger, and she's like, what the fuck is this? Because she'd never seen one. And I was like, oh, I'm just taking care of that for my friend Stacy. And like, she was like, oh, okay. And then like a week later, she found all the little like cartridges like hiding, and she's like, okay, well, what the fuck are these? And like, yeah, I can't lie anymore. I mean, like, honestly, I was like, I just can't. I mean, I may be in recovery from drugs, but I'm not I'm not full recovery. Like, I am still lying, and I'm still trying to be deceitful. And that was the last time I lied to my wife. I mean, that was the last time. And I just, after a certain point, like, you have to question, what face are you going to wear in this life? Are you going to be the angel, or are you going to be the demon? And I was tired of lying, and I was just tired of, like, there's that line, like, if you never lie, like, you never have to worry if you never lie, or something like that.
Basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I mean, but you, because this interview is not about me, this is about you. So, like, tell me the genesis of, like, a song. I mean, are you, like, is it just observation? I mean, is it love? I mean, what?
Man, the most recent thing, it changes for me. Sometimes I'll sit down and I'm a novice on guitar. A lot of people don't know that. Like, I only started playing guitar like maybe 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay.
I started as a musician when I was 19, but I was doing metal and I was screaming and singing. So I've been singing and writing songs for a long time.
Yeah.
But I've never been playing guitar and singing and composing these pieces where I'm the one that has to play them all, right?
Right, yeah.
So I started learning guitar, and I just started coming up with these riffs that felt good for what my abilities were to play.
Right.
So I would have those riffs, and then in my head a melody would come to me, and I'd start putting words to them, and I'd start writing stuff down.
Yeah.
So for some reason, everything I write down ends up being really depressing and melancholy and gloomy, and it's just the way it is. People are like, try to write a happy song. I'm like, nah, fuck that. I don't want to write that I'm the same way. Like, most of my comedy was never like about like happy things. It was always about pain, and like, like, I can't have children, like it was all mined from shit that, like, is just like tragic, you know what I mean? Like, so, and that's okay, and I honestly think that's, I mean, art really, I mean, at the end of the day, I've said this a million gazillion trillion times in this podcast, but most art comes from pain. I mean, it's just, it's because that's how we learn, when you're younger, I mean, how do you learn? You get spanked, or at least that's how they used to do before parents became pussies, and like, that you learn your lesson and you move on. But, like, and that's with pain, you just, you gotta
you know, you got to find a way to channel it, you know.
Yeah, it's catharsis for me, man.
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
have a lot of stuff that that I carry around, and I don't know why, but I have a relatively short fuse anyway.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I started.
Want to go? That's kidding.
And back when I was younger, I was a stupid meathead, and I was into that bar fight shit, trying to prove myself.
Oh
But
sure.
I realize how dumb that is now.
Yeah.
Now that I'm a grown man, you couldn't say something to me to drag me into it. I'm not
Yeah.
interested in it. But I've been training and using music to really, kind of channel it, and
Yeah.
it seemed to work pretty good for me.
Yeah.
But the most recent thing I wrote, my family and I were on vacation in Florida, and I couldn't sleep because I'm just weird and I like to sleep in my own bed, which is ironic for what I do. But
Right. No, I mean, hey, I'm right there with you. I hate sleeping in strange beds.
I was up late and I was watching a bunch of like murder documentaries and prison documentaries and stuff like that. And then I was super bummed out about something. I don't even know why. I was just watching those documentaries, thinking what it would be like, and I wrote a song about it. And then I wrote an entire story about it. And then I just came home and started messing with chords that sounded scary, and that was the last thing I wrote.
Oh.
The next thing might be something where I'm just playing a scale and I'm like, oh, that's a cool thing.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I'll wake up at 2 in the morning and I'll just have a melody in my head and I'll go in my bathroom and be like singing it into my cell phone real quiet.
That's pretty cool.
If I just go back to bed, I'll forget it all.
Well, yeah. How does, I mean, as far, because you're a married guy, like, I mean, how does your wife like, I mean, does she ever go like, man, why are you so fucking depressed? Like,
yeah, all the time. Yeah. She knows why. She knows me better than anybody. I've had a lot of issues with like the family law courts and stuff like that with the kid that I've got, and things like that have caused me a lot of pain and a lot of injustice and stuff like that.
Right.
But I've had that stuff, and she's been around me through most of that stuff. So she kind of gets it.
Yeah.
At the same time, she's like, you seem generally pretty happy. I'm like, yeah, about as happy as I've ever been.
Yeah.
But the music is as dark as it's ever been.
Well,
maybe there's a correlation with that. It's a way to constructively get
right. Well, doing music makes you happy, and no matter how dark it gets. I mean, for me, like I said, no matter how dark my podcast gets or an episode gets, like, it makes me happy because, like, I'm doing what I like to do, and that's basically talking to nobody. Like, I don't have to look at people.
Like me and you, we haven't talked for 25 years, man. But aside from Facebook and stuff, since we were connected, but like, this is cool for me.
Yeah, this is golden, man.
I haven't talked to you forever. You were a guy that I passed by in the hallway, and I was probably a dick to when I was younger.
Yeah.
And now we're sitting here, and 25 years later,
yeah,
talking to each other humbly and honestly. And
yeah.
It's awesome for me. It knows that I grew. It helps me know that I grew a little bit as a person, and you did too.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, and that's the cool thing about life. I mean, like, life pulls so many switcheroos on you, and then does like reverses, and then it's just, I don't know, like, I could be completely like angry with how my life went as far as like all the mistakes that I made, but everything I've done has led me to this point. It's led me to you, Dusty. Just kidding. No, it's led me to all the good things that have happened in my life. There's like, it's like, I don't know. It's like, Donnie Darko. Like, it's like, is there something? Have you seen that movie before, Donnie Darko?
I have not seen it. No.
What? Okay, well, fuck that. Never mind then.
That's a weird thing with me and you is I cannot sit still for more than about 30 minutes at a time. So it drives my wife fucking crazy. Like, she goes because she loves the movies and she watches movies and
yeah.
And I like movies, but I usually sit to watch a movie for about 40 minutes, and she's like, just go do what you want to do. I can feel you thinking about it. Like, just go do what you're gonna do. Like
that's kind of how my wife is with my podcast. She's kind of like, I know you want to look at your pod. I know you want to go do your something with your, with your podcast website, and I'm just like, yeah, and she's like, well, but no, I mean this has been really cool, and I've really enjoyed this. And you guys got big plans for the holidays?
Not really. No, we're gonna stay here. My wife's from Nicaragua.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah, and her family's coming Sunday, so we'll have a bunch of people yelling in Spanish around here and making delicious food and chasing babies around. That's what.
Well, at least, what was it? 1 out of 3 ain't bad, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Yeah, well, man, it's been awesome. It's like this has been a really cool episode, man, and I'm really glad that you came on. I I really need to figure out a way to do a live one where I can
stream it live.
Yeah, exactly, like a Howard Stern show, except like I would like to think I'm better looking than Howard Stern, but well, he said, there aren't. I don't think I'd have to go very far, but but no, I'm just kidding. But no, dude, it's been a pleasure. I am so glad that you were able to come on the show, and if you want, I mean, do you want to play something? I mean, or are you kind of like, fuck that, I don't want to do it.
Well, I don't have a guitar down here or tuned.
That's okay, no worries.
Run and grab one and try if you want me to, but I don't think you want to have a minute of dead air for me to go grab my guitar.
I'll pause it.
If you want me to play something, I'll play something for you. It's up to you.
You know what? Let's hold off on that, because you know what? Because I want your because it's not going to sound as good on Skype, and I want your listen, because you have a lot of listeners out there, a lot of fans, and I don't want them to hear like, your stuff, not in the best quality, I mean, this is for us, man,
Sure.
This is and I like to learn about art and music, and and this was for us to kind of catch up, and I'm glad we did it, and I really hope you guys you have a great holiday, and and again, thank you for being on the show, and I and keep doing what you're doing with the music, and and keep me in the loop. All right.
Yeah, we're friends, man. We'll be talking.
Yeah.
I hope that I can come on again, and it's good for me to kind of put a couple demons behind me, because I know when I was a younger man, I was a dickhead.
Yeah.
I was probably a dickhead to you, and for anything that I did, I apologize for that kind of stuff.
Oh, hey, man,
that's stuff that those are things, like, as I get older and I start to get more mature, I don't like to carry around with me.
Yeah.
And if it makes me seem a little tacky or whatever, I really don't care what people think.
No, hey, man.
It's just me being honest, man. So I just wanted to say that too.
Hey, no, man. Water under the bridge, and like, honestly, like, this is like we're gonna be 40 soon. I mean, it's like honestly, if we're like carrying on stuff like that's like 25 years old, like then yeah, this was a good experience, man, and I wish you the best of luck, and I really dig your music, and I hope you keep doing what you're doing, and I'll keep doing what I'm doing, and one of these, and yeah, maybe we'll have you back on again, and in the meantime, just rock on, all right?
Yeah, let me know whenever you need somebody, man. I'd be happy to come on. I appreciate it.
Beautiful, dude. Hey, you take care, all right?
Good day.
Peace. And that, my friends, is Dusty Grant. He's a great musician. He to be fair, he was a dick back in the day, but he has turned into a very nice, very very good guy. Very generous to give his time up to take the time to be on the show, and clearly we're both in good places now, and time really does. I mean, time does wonders. I mean, it really does. I mean, like if you had told me like back in junior high that like 25 years later that we were going to be on the right side with each other, I would have been like, well, I probably would have been crying like a little girl because that's what I did a lot back when I was in junior high. But no, it's a good thing, and I'm really glad. And if you can get in touch with somebody, or find somebody that you weren't all that crazy about, or you bump into them, don't be a dick to them, because honestly, they probably have been through their own battles, and just like everybody else, they've gotten through them one day at a time.